Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Santos from gfsantos.com. And in today's video, gonna talk about a couple different subject matters as it relates to weed. Um, because I've had a number of new subscribers ask me if I still smoke and what kind of tips I have for them. So this video is going to start off with that, and then we'll see where it goes. So this is going to be a longer video, maybe even up to 20 minutes, just to share a little bit in detail of, what I have to say on those two topics. So the first topic is, do I still smoke? And the answer is yes. I still smoke when I fulfill on certain agreements that I make with myself. More specifically, I make a decision that I'm going to complete these goals, and when those goals are complete, I smoke weed. And not just any goals, like not just brushing my teeth in the morning or even working out for the day. It's big long-term goals, okay? So instead of weed being a instant gratification experience, it's now a long-term gratification experience. And it's a kill two birds with one stone situation, because what's actually most important to me, so to speak, is growing. And the completing of long, big goals is a measurement for growth, right? And it's hard. Like, these are the goals that like I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna be able to do them. You know those goals where you want them, but they're hard. Whether it's losing lots of weight or earning lots of money or things of that nature, those are the milestone achievements. And so just like how professional athletes, they'll party and they'll go to Disneyland and things like that when they win the championship, when I complete these big goals, it's essentially like me winning a championship, because it takes discipline, it takes overcoming fears, it takes long days and nights, it takes tons of sacrifices, and it's in the reaching a destination, going through all that journey that makes getting there such a big deal. And so my big deal reward is weed, amongst other things. And okay, so there's that, right? And what I want what I want you to know, what I want to share is that when I first started doing that, it worked very well. And at the same time, it still requires discipline to say no, or to really not get right back on, but to be done with the celebration, to be done with the weed for that point, and then to create a new long-term goal to go for. It really does. And so this leads us to our next topic, which is, what is my tip for people to either quit smoking or to gain control? And that the answer to that is to train yourself to say no and follow through. Meaning, and that's pretty straightforward, right? But the purpose behind that is so that you have the muscle, the ingrained muscle, the ingrained habit to say no on command. Say no on command. And that kind of discipline translates into all areas of life. And it's essentially the ability to combat the mindless, instant gratification, just one more muscle on the other side of the spectrum. And this is not just for weed. This goes for example, for me, like having one more chip of Doritos, or watching one more episode on Netflix, or sleeping for 30 more minutes. You know, there's this just one more type of game that we play with ourselves. You can dive into the science of it and call it like a dopamine cycle or whatever, right? But it's characterized by the thought of just one more, right? And the feeling of like almost like crack. I've never done crack, but just like it's like I just want one more, right? And so by training yourself to say no, you'll be able to combat that force. And just as an example, I was out at a Chris Brown concert the other day with my sister and my cousin, and they bought these Chris cut fries, right? Oh, they're so good, you know, Chris cut fries. Obviously I wanted some, and at the same time, I didn't want to have that many. And so before I even had one, I said to myself, and I said out loud so my sister and my cousin could hear, that I'm just going to have two, right? And I had my first one. It was great. Enjoyed it. Had some melted cheese with it. And then I waited another 3 minutes before I was like, okay, I'll have my second one. And then that was it. Right? And so that right there with the crisp cut fries was a mini example of what my weed self-agreement, self-contract looks like, you know? So essentially I said, you know what? I'm only going to smoke after X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z has yet to happen. And so right now, the possibility of enjoying some weed is not earned. Okay? It would probably be equally as effective for me if I was like, I'll only smoke once a month. And I know I could do that. But the reason why I make it a reward for completing goals is because that's just what seems to work. That's what seems to help. It's not the reason, but it seems to help me stay focused on completing goals, the bigger goals. And it allows me to enjoy weed in a very moderate way, okay? So I'm going to segue into a third topic now, and this will probably be the last topic. And the topic is that changing your intention is equally as important as changing how often you smoke. Okay. So you could still go a year without smoking, but if the intention when you do smoke again is to run away and escape, I've found that will still leave a person at risk for a negative weed smoking pattern. The reason is because that intention of escaping and numbing and running away and hiding, at least for me, was the intention that kept me smoking for so long. Right? And in my experience, whenever that's my intention, I end up smoking in negative patterns. For real. And so instead of be very mindful of the intention, okay? And although there's nothing wrong with using weed to run away, there honestly is nothing wrong with it, guys. And what I mean by that is we use other kinds of shit to run away from life all the fucking time. We use Netflix to run away. We use fast food to run away. We use social media to run away. We use porn to run away. We use drinking to run away. sometimes we use work to run away. We use shopping to run away. You see what I'm saying? We use all kinds of shit to run away. And that's okay. That's not a sin, right? The issue, though, is then when we never deal with what we're running away from. And the reason why it's so particularly slippery with weed is that weed will for real make you feel like you have no problems. It's the exact opposite of what some of us feel when we are facing a certain stress in our life. Okay? And so being stoned will quite literally have you forget and be in a whole nother place. It's very, very good at that. And so unless you have the wisdom to, at the end of the day, know that, damn it, the only way this stress is going to go away is if I deal with it and not just run away smoking weed. Then, you could still use weed to run away, But instead of it being a tool to run away with, how about it being a tool to have fun every once in a while? Or to just enjoy, Because what's ironic is when we smoke weed to run away, we don't even really get to enjoy the high. Because after a while, the back of your mind is like, God damn it. Like, not only did I say I wasn't going to smoke, but I still have that part of my life that I'm scared to deal with. So you never even get to enjoy the being high part. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's hard to enjoy a party for getting straight A's when you have yet to get straight A's. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's hard to, celebration is only sweet when the game is over and you've actually won. You know what I'm saying? But going back to the second topic, the most critical habit or skill that you must develop in order to no longer be at effect of being stoned and have the ability to smoke 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, and then be done with it is the ability to say no and follow through. And look, consider that building that habit is not a like, I'm perfect, I say no all the time, but it is just like how you'll build muscle if you lift like more times than you don't. That doesn't mean you lift every day. That doesn't mean you're always, but it is most effective when you stay disciplined, right? And oh man. You want to know one of the most powerful exercises that you could do? Here it is. And this would, this would help you. This is like the equivalent of lifting like a car right here, okay? It's an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. If you really want to build a big ass, fat ass muscle of saying no to weed and following through, the next time you're craving, and the next time that you, even though you know that you probably shouldn't do it, you're craving and you're going through your emotions, right? And you're kind of watching yourself in your mind do this. You're like, well, here I go again. I'm driving to the dispensary. Here I go again. I'm withdrawing $20. Here I go again. I'm blah, blah, blah. Here I go again. Okay? And if you, at any time in that cycle, can say no and go the other way and follow through, you'll get a taste. You'll get a big taste of how powerful you really are. And that'll snap you right out. That'll snap you right out of that cycle. I promise you. ugh. Even more so if you can make it all the way to where the bowl is packed and you say no and follow through, you'll fucking realize that you're actually the one in control. If you can do that, you will realize that you are the one in control this whole time. Ooh. Because it's like being you're just in a hazy habit loop. That hazy dopamine habit loop. That whole we train animals to push buttons and in exchange they get some type of food. And they just associate tapping the button with getting this feeling. And that's quite literally happened to us. The kicker is that for us, at least for me, there were so many buttons that had me want to chase that feeling of being stoned. Whenever I was bored, whenever I would sit down on my office chair, seeing pictures of weed, whenever I'd feel stressed. God, how many times in a person's day are they stressed or bored or sitting down? Or they see something that relates to weed, Anyways, guys, all right. I think that's it for today. I hope that supported you in some way. If you made it this far in the video, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. Share your thoughts on what I said. Share your thoughts on what you have to say. And if you got specifically this far in the video, please like the video. I appreciate the fuck out of you. And I really hope that one of these videos inspires you to take action. And I hope that you take action and that you fucking solve this shit. Because I know what it's like. I remember what it's like. I remember when getting through this whole weed addiction thing was like the number one piece, the number one thing on my agenda for years. And I remember the weight of being unable to figure it out for years. And I also remember how freeing it was to no longer be addicted and not have to worry and not have to solve that problem anymore. It is a blessing, guys. And it's the whole reason why I created this channel, is because I want to help people be free of this problem in their lives so that they can move on. So that they can fucking move on. Anyways, guys, that is it for today. I will see you in the next video. But until next time, peace.